Okay, class, picking up where we left off at, we're multiplying x minus 4 by each one of these terms in this equation. These x minus 4s will simplify out and leave you 3x. X minus 4 times 1 is a positive x minus 4. And these x minus 4s simplify out and leave you 2x. 3x plus x is 4x. Minus 4 equals 2x. We subtract 4x on both sides. We got negative 4 is equal to a negative 2x. We divide each side by negative 2. And positive 2 is equal to x. And that is your final answer. Now we come here to 16. We must first factor our denominators. It's the difference of two squares is to be a minus 8, a plus 8. Now, our LCD is a minus 8 and a plus 8. So we'll multiply this whole equation by our LCD. So we'll have a minus 8 times a plus 8. Now these will simplify out and leave you a. These a plus 8s will simplify out, give you 4 times a minus 8. This a minus 8 and a minus 8 is simplify out, and you have 3 times a plus 8. So you have a plus 4a minus 32 equals 3a plus 24. A plus 4a is 5a minus 32 equals 3a plus 24. Now, we need to subtract 3a on both sides. We will have 2a minus 32 is equal to 24. We will add 32 on both sides. And you will have 2a is equal to 56. Now we divide each side by 2. And a is 28. And this is our final answer. It says here, write an equation and solve. Number 17. The water's current is 2 miles per hour. A canoe can travel 6 miles downstream with the current in the same amount of time it travels 2 miles upstream against the current. What is the canoe's average speed in still water? Okay, so first of all, we have 6 miles with the current, so it'd be 6 over x plus 2 because we're traveling with the current. Now we know against the current, it'll be x minus 2, but that's 2 miles. Now we can cross multiply. We have 6 times x minus 2 is equal to 2 times x plus 2. This gives us 6x minus 12 is equal to 2x plus 8. We add 12 on both sides. We have 6x equals 2x plus 20. Subtract 2x on both sides. And we will have 4x is equal to 20. Okay, class, there's a mistake I made on this problem. When I did 2 times the parenthesis x plus 2, this here, let me cross this out. This is actually supposed to be 6 times x minus 2 is equal to 2 times x plus 2. So it'll be 6x minus 12 is equal to 2x plus 4. Now, we subtract 2x on both sides. We have 4x minus 12 is equal to 4. Add 12 on both sides. And 4x is equal to 16. Now, we would take 4x equals 16, divide each side by 4, and x is equal to 4. So our final answer is 4 miles. Okay, now we scroll down to 18. It says to estimate the number of bass in a lake, wildlife biologists tagged 50 bass and released them in the lake. Later, they netted 108 bass and found that 27 of them were tagged. Approximately how many bass are in the lake? Okay, now when you do a problem like this, we have to look at it like this here. We have the whole population, which we don't know. And we have 50 bass that we took out of that population. And we set that equal to our population was 108 that we took out, and 27 of them were tagged. So we had tag fish with tag fish, population with population. So now we will cross multiply. X times 27 is 27x. 108 times 50. We can multiply that off to the side. We have 0, 0, 4. So that would be 5,400. Divide these out by 27. And x is 200. So this is our answer. So you could write there are about 200 bass. Okay, now we scroll down here to 19. Person who was 5 feet tall is standing 80 feet from the base of a tree. The tree casts an 86-foot shadow. The person's shadow is 6 feet in length. What is the tree's height? So what we're going to have here is basically this. This is the person height, they're 5 feet. This is their shadow, which is 6 feet. Now we go over here to the tree. It says the tree casts an 86-foot shadow. So this is the shadow. We do not know the tree's height. This 80 feet is actually unnecessary, but as far as solving the problem. So what we would do is set this up in a proportion. We have 5, 6 is equal to 8x over 86. Now we cross multiply. We have 5 times 86 is equal to 6x. 5 times 86 is 430 equals 6x. We divide these out by 6. And of course we're going to have an approximation. Now what we can do here is type this in our calculator. We have 430 divided by 6, which will give us approximately 71.7. And that'll be feet. So that is our final answer. Now we scroll to problem 20. It says find the value of x and the rectangle shown. Now if you notice here, x is on the diagonal and this forms a triangle. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is 9, b is 12, we don't know what c is. 9 squared is 81, 12 squared is 144, equals c squared. 144, 81 plus 144 is 225, and that equals c squared. We could take the square root of both sides, and 15 is equal to c. So our final answer here is x is equal to 15, because remember we're trying to find x. Now, we scroll down here. The square root of 81 is 9. The fourth root of 81 is 3. Cube root of 125 is 5. Now we ask ourselves, the fifth root of a negative 243 is a negative 3. Now we have the square root of 3x, square root of 5y. We cannot do anything with that. So what we would do is we will multiply this. This will give us the square root of 3 times 5 is 15, and x times y is xy. So our final answer is the square root of 15xy. Now we come here. We have the square root of 2/3 times the square root of 3/5. This is the same as this here. 2/3 times 3/5. Well, we know we could simplify out the 3's, and we'll just be left with the square root of 2/5. Now remember, we cannot have our denominator be in the square root. So we have the square root of 2 over the square root of 5. So we'll multiply our numerator and denominator by the square root of 5. So we have the square root of 10 all over square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is just 5. And that is our final answer. Now we come to 27, the square root of 300. The highest perfect square in 300 is 100. So we have the square root of 100 times the square root of 3. Square root of 100 is 10, square root of 3. That is our final answer. Now we have the square root of 81 times z to the 6. The square root of 81 we know is 9. The square root of z to the 6 is z cubed. And we're done. Now, for 29, we need to pull out our perfect squares. We're going to have two radicals here, one with our perfect squares and one with what's left. Perfect square in 50 is 25, and that will leave us 2 left. The perfect square in x cubed is x squared. That will leave us an x. And the perfect square in y to the 4th is y to the 4th. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of x squared is x. The square root of y to the 4th is y squared times the square root of 2x. And that is the final answer. Now we go here to 30. We have the negative square root of negative 1. This is undefined. That is our final answer for 30. Now with 31, we cannot have a square root in our denominator. So we'll multiply our numerator and denominator by the square root of 11. And we will be left with the negative 3 square root of 11 all over square root of 11 times square root of 11 is 11. And that is our final answer. Now with 32, we have the square root of 9 over 100. So it's the same as the square root of 9 over the square root of 100, which is 3/10. And that is our final answer. Now we go down here to 33. We have the square root of s to the 12 over 36. So it'll be square root of s to the 12 all over the square root of 36 to give us s to the 6th power all over 6. Now remember, that's an s, not a 5. Okay, now we go to 34. The highest perfect square in 80 is 16. So it'll be square root of 16 times the square root of 5 plus the highest perfect square in 45 is 9. Square root of 9 times the square root of 5 minus the highest perfect square in 180 is 36. And we have 5 left over. So now square root of 16 is 4, square root 5. Square root of 9 is 3, square root 5 minus, it's supposed to be a square root of 36. Square root of 36 is 6, square root 5. Now we combine like terms. 4 plus 3 is 7, minus 6 is 1, square root 5. But we don't have to write the 1 in front of the radical, so it'll just be the square root of 5. Now, we come here to 35. We have 2 times 75, the square root of 75, the highest perfect square is 25. So we will have 2 times the square root of 25 is 5, square root 3. So this will be 10, square root 3. Now, we go down here to 36. We have the square root of 5 over 80. We can simplify that. That will give us 1 over 16. So we have the square root of 1 over the square root of 16, which is 1/4. Now, we come here to 37. We have the square root of 3 times the square root of 6, which is the square root of 18. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3, the square root of 9. The highest perfect square in 18 is 9. It has square root of 2 left over.